Yahoo World Soccer 2010, the conclusion of World Cup action. The Tucson Red Carders group. This is your final recap talking about how things finished up in the Tucson Red Carders League. The World Cup is now over. Spain picked up their first ever World Cup in the 19th edition, knocking off the Netherlands in the game final. Recapping what happened in this past week of action since we last spoke, going all the way back to the semifinals. The semifinals, again, for those of you in the league, 8 points if you picked those games correctly, 4 points if you got the score right. Netherlands knocked off Uruguay on Tuesday, 3-2 in a wild game. And on Wednesday, Spain knocked off Germany 1-0 in a grueling battle. Those two teams would advance. The two losing teams would meet in the third place game that took place Saturday, where Germany knocked off Uruguay 3-2. The third place game for everybody in the league, 6 points to pick that game right and 3 points for the score. And then this morning, Sunday, 10 points would be on the line for the game to be picked correctly, an additional 5 points if you pick the score right. This is between Spain and the Netherlands, as we mentioned. Spain with the victory 1-0, late into extra time. We almost saw penalty kicks decide this one, but Spain wound up coming out on top, knocking off the Netherlands and picking up their first ever World Cup. Let's get right to the standings, talk about how things finished up in the Tucson Red Carders League. Your winner and the champion of the 2010 Yahoo World Soccer Group, Broken Arrow with 127 points to take the win. Second, who will be headbutted this year with a remarkable comeback, finishes with 120 points. And third, picking up the bronze trophy, the Showstopper with 114 points. Rounding out the rest of the top 10, you got Greek Thunder, who was very dominant early, winds up fourth with 112 points. This spot reserved comes home fifth with 110 points. Orange Power, Dutch Art Clutch, the only other team with a real shot at taking the victory going into the final, winds up sixth with 107 points. Otis and the Drunk Stew Soccer, another team that had a remarkable comeback, winds up seventh with 104 points. Glory Man United comes home with 103 points for eighth place, and a tie for ninth between Football and I Love Foosball with 100 points each. Rounding out the rest of the field, Keeper for Life was 11th with 99 points. Stupid Mexico comes home 12th with 95 points. GOAL comes home 13th with 91 points. Arsenal US comes home 14th with 88 points. Kaká comes in 15th with 86 points. Yellow Card 16th with 76 points. 17th, Dizzy Lizzy with 73 points, edging out 18th, Pipsqueak 7 by just a point. And 19th, Rooney with 53 points. And rounding out the 20-team group, London Tea Party of 2010 with 36 points. Some of the interesting notes, second place, who will be headbutted this year, a remarkable comeback to say the least, was 18th after group play. 16 spots were made up in the knockout stage, so this team rallied from the absolute bottom of the standings to come oh so close to picking up the win, scoring 15 points in the game's final, picked the score right and the game right in the championship game. So maxed out the points there, was enough to get second place, and when all was said and done. Seventh place, you got to give a shout out to Otis and the Drunk Stew Soccer. 7-spot improvement over where this team stood at the end of group play. So fantastic rally in the knockout stages for that team as well. And the unfortunate note of the knockout stage, GOAL, who had a real shot to possibly take this thing after group play, finished 13th, dropping 11 spots in the standings after the knockout stage. Some of the other interesting notes that we have here after play has basically concluded, Greek Thunder gets the distinction of picking the most games correctly. Greek Thunder picked 36 of 64 games correctly. That was 2 better than anybody else in the league. So good job to Greek Thunder for getting the most games right. Broken Ankle, Glory Man United, and Yellow Card had the most scores picked correctly. Those 3 teams each picked 9 scores right in the tournament, so congratulations to those 3 teams. That definitely helped out Broken Ankle in picking up the victory, and it helped out Yellow Card, who didn't get a whole lot of games right, but did manage to get 9 scores right. Almost 50% of the games Yellow Card picked were correctly picked in the score column as well. Who will be headbutted this year? Otis and the Drunks Do Soccer and I Love Foosball were the only teams that were outside the top 10 after group play to crack the top 10 when all was said and done. As we said, Who Will Be Headbutted wound up 2nd, Otis and the Drunks wound up 7th, and I Love Foosball rallied from outside the top 10 to come home in a tie for 9th. Broken Ankle and Who Will Be Headbutted this year, 13-3 in knockout play. Both these teams absolutely dominated the knockout stage. Broken Ankle actually went 10 straight matches without loss, and Who Will Be Headbutted this year, with the same 13-3 record, had the final 7 games correct as well as the final score correct in that final game. So an absolute rally on that team's part. Some of the unfortunate results from the knockout stages. Arsenal US did not pick any of the final 4 games, dropped from 6th to 14th because of that. Yellow Card made blind picks in the knockout stages, made the picks before any of the teams were announced for the entire tournament, and actually wound up 7-9. So almost 50% of the games picked correctly, not even knowing any of the teams. So absolute guesswork there wound up paying off in the knockout stages somewhat. And then also Rooney and London Tea Party of 2010. Those teams really didn't participate in the knockout stages, and it shows as those teams were definitely distanced. Rooney was behind 18th by 19 points, and London Tea Party of 2010 scored just 36 points for the tournament, had the fewest picks correct. So we want to thank everybody for playing. Hope to see you back here in 4 years for the next World Cup. Definitely just want to send a shout out to everybody who participated in the league this year. Really appreciate the support for the league and appreciate everybody getting in there and getting those picks in before each game. I know it was hard for some people to make sure picks were in for every game of the entire tournament, but it was really I was really glad to see a lot of people turn out for this group, and just really happy that everybody participated and had some fun with it. Hope everybody had fun with it, and definitely appreciate the support and hope to see you in some of the other fantasy leagues as we continue on through the season. And definitely hope to see all of you back in 4 years for the next World Cup, as the next World Cup will be in Brazil in 2014. So until then, this has been the Tucson Red Carders group, and this is Eric. You guys have a great evening.